Welcome back, gamers, to another Deck Tech Speedrun where I run you through EDH Deck Tech as fast as possible while going through all the strats, all the techs, and all that other stuff, and go through a couple of hands as well. If you want to catch the deck list, you can check in the link in below, and you can play for yourself on Moxfield. And you can also find my other decks that I'm building and brewing as well on there as well. But before we get into the video, please drink responsibly.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers.
So let's get into the deck tech. In 3, 2, 1. So this deck tech is called Miller Time. That's the reason I was drinking. And obviously, it's about milling. Not really doing a whole lot of damage, but it's about milling your opponents out as fast as possible. And who else better to do it with Bruvac? Bruvac basically doubles as a panharmonicon effect to make it so that your opponents are milled out twice as fast. He is very dangerous, but if you are able to basically do a bunch of shenanigans, you're going to be doing it very, very fast. And you may look at the number of cards, numbers, obviously, because it's EDH. You will see that Persistent Petitioners is on here. I have 13 of them, just because 13 is funny. Like, you could put more, you could put less, depending on what you want to do, but it's catered to basically mill your opponent out as fast as possible and draw you cards. That is the main thing of the deck. You have things like Fleet Swallower, which will basically be a one. You'll take out an opponent like that if that comes out on the battlefield with Bruvac out. Same with Tristerian Mindbreaker. If you're able to get into a graveyard and bring them out, that's a good thing, because you will be milling yourself as well with things like Mesmeric Orb. There are other things, other effects outside of Bruvac, obviously, that will make your opponents mill. Duh, that's the whole point of the deck. Like Ruin Crab, that's a fun one. Serum Vision, and there's a lot of good draw spells within it. Maddening Cacophony, that's a very dangerous spell. You can take out an opponent very easily with this if you know how to do it right. Fractured Sanity, incredible for 3 mana. You can mill an opponent out for 14 cards. With Bruvac out, that's 28 cards. That's a lot. That's a lot. Memory Loss, or Weight of Memory, is a good draw spell. And you can mill at the same time, so you're getting 3 cards while an opponent is milling 3, maybe 6 cards. It's really good. It's good for both targeting each opponent, but it's also good at mass library destruction. That's the best way I would say. You have Consider, which I say is the most powerful card in the game. Super powerful. It's the most broken card of the game. Prove me wrong. You have things like Opt, Thought Skewer, Counterspell, Dramatic Reversal, things to basically make sure that you are able to not only play your spells, but make sure that you are milling your opponent at all times, because that is the point. You are not going to be dealing a whole lot of damage, but you are going to be milling out people as fast as possible. It goes nuts to butts. You got Felden's Cane, in case if you want to take your graveyard and put it back in your library. Grindstone's pretty fun. Soul Guide Lantern, Halimite, good card draw. Mesmeric Orb is a very, very crazy thing in this deck, especially since you yourself will not be milling whatever tapped things that you have. You won't double it because it's for only your opponents. But if your opponents have anything tapped, they're milling twice that many cards, obviously. Sapphire Medallion to reduce the spells. Weathered Runestone just to shut off, kind of do some stacks effects. And Whisper Silk Cloak just to make sure that Bruvac is doing what he wants to do. And you have a lot of other enchantments that are more or less drawing / milling at the same time. You got Clues, Investigations, and stuff like that. Bath Song is very fun. Bath Song is very fun to use in this deck. Omniscience, if you are able to get it out, you're able to get... Duh. It's a huge one. Same with Mind's Dilation. Very crazy to pull off. If you get it to work, cool. If you don't, it's not part of the plan, but it's also a big thing. If you're able to get it off, just chef's kiss. But looking at the spread, the only thing that you have in a 10 is Omniscience, but everything else is pretty low mana value, so you're able to cast multiple spells in a turn, so that's pretty good. The highest stat you have is 7, and that's basically your ones that are going to be doing a lot of damage, or a lot of things within a turn. Like you have Fleet Swallower, basically mill an opponent out, period. Same with, as you get lower, you start seeing more draw spells, more milling spells. But mainly this 2 CMC cost, or converted mana value cost, is where your bread and butter is at. Obviously with your Persistent Petitioners, and a lot of good spells that you're going to be playing on your turn. So let's try out a hand or two. This is good. This is not bad, but I feel like just in terms of like, you need more lands. Let's work at this. Okay, this is actually a good one to work with. So let's start with this. I'm going to play the Surgical Bay just because it comes in tapped, and you can have it next turn. Draw a card as if you're going, and then nothing it can do this turn. Next turn, play... Honestly, I could play whatever. I could play... Just to play a little safe. Play Memorial to Genius. And you have ways to even draw cards off of your lands, which is pretty good. And then my next turn, I can already start doing what I want to do. Let's just say I put Bruvac out. Although I don't think I want to put Bruvac out in this turn. I'll put Psychic Corrosion, so whenever I draw a card, each opponent mills the top 2 cards of the library into the graveyard. So that will go into my next turn. I feel like this turn I would probably do it. Or... Sphinx's Tutelage is the exact same effect, basically, but it's a lot more dangerous. Sphinx's Tutelage, basically, you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards of his or her library. If they're both non-land cards that share a color, repeat that process. It is very good for monocolor decks. It's very good. So I do that for my turn 4. Turn 5, I think I'd probably play Bruvac and play a... a memory. Fleeting Memories is pretty good. Let's just do that. Sacrifice a clue. Target opponent puts the top 3 cards of his or her library, but that also allows you to draw as well, which is pretty good. It's a very slow... It's not incredibly fast, but once it gets going, it snowballs super quickly. And when you have this working, it's nuts. It's incredibly nuts. So let's say I'm going to sack whatever clue that I had, because I have enough to play both of these, but I still have enough to sack that clue. So an opponent will be milling. So I have multiple instances of someone will be milling 2, someone will be milling 2 repeatedly, possibly, and then someone will be milling 3 cards. So that's pretty good. Even though it's turn 6, that's pretty damn good. And that's before Bruvac happens. So they're milling 4, and 6. That's nuts. And Bruvac himself really helps with Persistent Petitioners in that it's an advisor. So you are able to tap Bruvac to pay that tap 4 untap target player mills 12 cards. It's really, 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 really good. So let's just do a new hand. So, okay, in this one, I feel like one thing in your hand that you want to have is 1, lands, but 2, Persistent Petitioners. That's the 2 things that you should have in your hand. If you don't, that's fine. I can work with this, make it happen. So what I'll do is I'll play a land, an island, I'll play Thought Scour, draw a card, and someone mills 2 cards. That's fine. Next turn, I would play an island and just pass the turn. Play another island, and I'll play Bruvac here. It's kind of slower on this one, I feel, than that other hand, but it's fine. It's fine. Just basically protect as much as possible. Go to my next one. Ooh, that's actually pretty nuts. I'm like, I'm not really running into anything. That's why I want to say that if you are playing this deck, those are the two things that you want to have in your hand. You want to have land, like 2 or more lands, because duh. And you want to have a persistent petitioners, because if you do, you are able to do a lot of other stuff as well. So let's do one more time just to make sure. Yep, we got lands. We got at least one of these guys, which is absolutely fine. So we'll play one land, draw for the turn. Just imagine that's multiplayer. Play a Rune Crab. So whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target opponent mills 3 cards. That's pretty good. So do this. So we'll be milling 3. I'm playing my persistent petitioners for the turn. Go into turn 3. Tap that. Play my Bruvac. We're good. Next turn. Hey, look, I'm not missing my land drop, so someone is already milling 6 cards. That's pretty good. Hey, that's pretty good. And yeah, I think I probably just like someone mills a card, someone mill 2 cards, whatever. Go on my next turn, turn 5. I would probably at this point just wait. Imagine like, oh, okay. I'd probably do Weight of Memory. Just draw 3 cards. Someone puts top 6 cards. That's pretty good. That would be my turn 5. Turn 6. I play that. Play my persistent petitioners. Draw a card for each instant sorcery. I don't want to do that yet. I have 3 on the battlefield. So I'll just probably wait it out. 1, 2. I paid for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'll probably just have to wait it out there. So go to my next turn. Turn 7. Just imagine like, oh, someone's trying to Mystic Confluence. Okay, I draw 2 cards. Counter a spell. Imagine. That's fine. So I have 4 of these now. And I can just do a lot of other stuff. But yeah, that's the main point of the deck, is just to mill as fast as possible. It's not the fastest deck ever, but it's going to be milling a lot. You are going to be a target. The damage is going to be fine. If you're able to handle it, it's going to be absolutely fine. But it's going to be a fun deck. It is a fun deck to play, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time.